week, researchers from Department of Microbiology at the University of Hong Kong have said that they have found the first instance of human reinfection of the SARS-CoV-2 virus. The researchers said that they found a 33-year-old man who was infected in March was found to be reinfected again in August during a routine screening. What does this mean for the entire disease and the epidemic? We'll tell you. There have been a lot of alarmist statements and there's been a lot of concerns about what does this reinfection mean? Because we have been told for quite some time that once perhaps someone gets SARS-CoV-2 or is infected of SARS-CoV-2 will not be reinfected again. However, this current studies changes a little bit of those assumptions. Yet it is just a study about that concerns one individual, and we need to have more data sets to sort of really dig more into the whole reinfection part. However, for what we know right now is that the reinfection has occurred, which means that it raises a lot of questions about the concept of herd immunity, the concept of protective antibodies that a human being can have, and also whether the disease is can be as severe when somebody gets reinfected the second time. Now, what the study shows is that the person who was found to be infected second time had no symptoms at all. The person was asymptomatic, which gives us a lot of hope. And this is what a lot of infectious disease experts have been saying, is that perhaps when someone gets reinfected the second time, it might not manifest into a disease state. Perhaps that might just become one of the other influenzas, which remains in the system, like we have seen with other coronaviruses. The reinfection could also mean that we might reach a stage where this will not manifest into a disease form. This is one thing which is quite a reassuring statement that's coming from an infectious disease expert, that this is not a cause of extreme panic or worry, as people have been sort of saying about. It also says a lot about the concept of herd immunity. We were all banking on herd immunity to sort of get us over through the current pandemic. But what it shows is that herd immunity, it's very difficult to achieve for something like Covid-19 or perhaps flus in general. Only measles is a disease that had 99% of herd immunity. No other disease has got that threshold for herd immunity. So our efforts of banking on that might also change. But what does this reinfection study say about the vaccine development? In fact, this has put up a new benchmark for what vaccine developers should be aiming for when they are getting their vaccines out to the market and to the regulators to get an approval. All this while, we were told that a 50% efficacy of a vaccine should be good enough. But now that threshold might change. When we say about 50% efficacy, is that how long can a vaccine keep an individual protected? Earlier data that has been coming, and this is just a 6-month data, has been saying that people are protected for 40 days, 60 days. And this study says that perhaps that might not be enough. A good vaccine for COVID-19 should be able to protect individuals for at least 1 year. And this is the factor that would be now pushing vaccine developers to put up a much better and much rigorous candidate out for regulators to approve. So a good vaccine. Now, ideally, after this study, again, this is just a one-person study and it's still, a lot of researchers might call it anecdotal, but going by what we have right now is that vaccine developers need to put up a higher efficacy number, which is perhaps more than 50% to get their vaccine approved. The study also kind of calls for recruiting reinfected individuals or individuals who have already been recovered from COVID-19 in part of the vaccine trials, which is very interesting because all this while we had thought that somebody who has recovered from COVID-19, developed antibodies, might not have to be part of a vaccination. But now the study says that it might be a good idea to recruit individuals who have recovered from COVID-19 also in the vaccine trial, so that we know that even if we are infected, if that person takes vaccination, perhaps individual might be protected for a longer period of time. But net, just to sum it up with this whole study, what we know is that this is what immunity works. This is how immune system works. When you get reinfected the second time, it might not necessarily manifest into a disease. It might just be one of the infections. It might be one of those different strains of influenza that has been around in the environment, and perhaps the vaccination might not be a one-time vaccination. We might have to take vaccines every year, as currently it's recommended for several flu. So that's what this new study on reinfection is all about. And it's early days, and we are getting to know more about the disease and the virus.